All right, hello, good morning, good evening, and good night. I hope you guys are doing absolutely fantastic, because in today's video what we're going to be doing is we're going to be talking about the overall market, but more specifically how this will affect stocks that are in our portfolio like TSLY and also KLIP. So what we're going to do today is we're going to go over the general market. We're going to go over what it did in the past 5 days, what I'm thinking it might do over the next little while, how this is going to affect TSLY and KLIP, I think, in a positive way. And we might do some calculations just with the Fidelity investment calculator and also a calculator on our own to see what kind of percents we're looking at, and we'll dive into our portfolio and see how it's been doing over the past couple days. So if that sounds good, please do remember to subscribe. We're up to 3,270 subscribers, almost getting to that 3,300 subscriber marker. So please do subscribe if you haven't yet done so. Our last video didn't do as well, but I knew it wasn't going to do as well just due to the fact that it's, CLM, it's a decent stock, but it doesn't have the popularity that TSLY and also KLIP have, but it's definitely interesting. So I would say do check out this video on CLM and that NAV. I do want to say, I do apologize. I am recording in my basement in my furnace room just due to the fact that I'm getting my windows done at my house. But if you can bear with that, then let's get into this video. So today we're talking about not only the Dow Jones, but we're also talking about our favorite stocks, which are TSLY and KLIP. So going to the Dow Jones right here, what I want to show you guys is that just as fast as the Dow Jones can depreciate in value, it looks like over about the span of 10 days, it can really bounce back just as hard or even harder, because over the past 5 days, from October 27th to November 3rd, you could see that the Dow Jones went from 32,400 all the way up to where we're at right now, which is basically 34,000 even. And going to our calculator right here, I'm going to do 32,400 divided by 34,000, and we're going to see this kind of percent return right here. So subtracting 1 from this, you could see that the Dow Jones has returned about 4.7% in just a span of about 4 or 5 days, which I think is pretty insane. When you look at, let's say a yearly return about the Dow Jones, and you're talking about on average it goes up maybe 7 to 10%, going up about 4.7% in a span of 4 days is pretty incredible. That kind of shows the volatility within these times, and what really thrives off volatility, that would be the TSLY Yieldmax Option Income Strategy ETF, and also the Crane Shares China Internet and Cover Call Strategy ETF, which is KLIP. Now understand, KLIP tracks KWEB. They are the Chinese internet sector. They are not tracking the Dow Jones or anything like that. But when the Dow Jones appreciates, generally KWEB also does appreciate. Now obviously they're not necessarily linked because this is in China and this is in the US, but the US definitely has an impact on the overall global kind of economic space. So when the Dow Jones definitely tanks, it also has an effect on KWEB. Now with the Dow Jones going up, that has caused an increase in Tesla. Now Tesla over the past month has seen some rocky roads. It was at about $260, went all the way down to below $200, below this level here, and has rebounded back to $220. I actually don't have my kind of chart up, but we kind of assumed Tesla would hit about 200, maybe go down to about 175, but Tesla hit about 200 and rebounded all the way up to $220 today. Now, is this set in stone? Could this go back down? It could absolutely go back down to these 200 levels. For all we know, this could be just kind of like a little blip, as we've seen in the previous months. With these little blips right here, this could be a little blip, and then Tesla could trend downwards. But for the current time being, with Tesla trending up, it's also having a positive effect on TSLY. As you can see, TSLY actually hit into the $10 marker. Just going down here, it went to $10.84. I did pick up some shares at about $11.64, so I'm up on those shares already. But with the rebound in Tesla and the market, we're also seeing a rebound in TSLY, as it's up to now $12.11, which I think is pretty good. And you know what, if we could see a rebound in Tesla, maybe up to these previous markers of about $250, we could see definitely, I'm pretty sure we're going to see $13 levels in TSLY, maybe $13.50 and all the way up to $14. So that's pretty good. And another one to keep in mind is KLIP. I understand when looking at the kind of the max price history of KLIP, you see a straight downward trajectory, but KLIP has been going through a bit of a rough time. It went down to $16.20, pretty much the low it's ever been at. But the thing is, when looking at the underlying index, which is KWEB, KWEB also had a pretty hard hit market and time here. Like if you look down at the past 6 months of KWEB, you can see it's pretty much flat, with obviously times and periods of pretty high capital like appreciation, going from $26, $27 all the way up to $31. But when we look at the long-term max history of KWEB, you can see that although it does tend to trade flat, there are periods of growth and appreciation, which if we could get out of this flat period here and see one of those, we're going to see a substantial increase in KLIP. Not only KLIP as from an appreciation standpoint, but also from a dividend standpoint. And that's one thing that's great about this bull trend in the market over the past 5 days. If we can kind of hold these levels for a bit, TSLY is going to see a major increase in their dividend, and so will KLIP. And go into my real life portfolio here, you could see that I actually hold about 104 shares of KLIP, and I hold 100 shares of TSLY. And right now my dividends are kind of lackluster. They're a bit mediocre for these companies compared to what they once were paying. These are obviously still very high paying dividends, but we're talking companies that were paying, 70% dividends, they're down to about 50%. But if this number, if TSLY was able to produce a dividend that would be roughly about 80 cents or so, this dividend would go from 57 cents all the way up to, or $57 all the way up to $80. That would be roughly a $20 jump. And same with KLIP. If KLIP was to produce a 90-cent dividend, that would also be close to a $20 jump. And that's the one cool thing about investing in TSLY and KLIP. The dividends are different every single month. They present opportunities for pretty good growth, appreciation, and obviously dividend returns. If you could buy them at great prices and then reinvest your dividends, you could potentially make a lot of money. Obviously, I do not condone any investing in TSLY or KLIP. I'm just kind of explaining my strategy, what I'm currently receiving from them, and what I could potentially receive from them in the future if they were to do what I would like, and that is to appreciate slowly over time. So with all that being said, even what I want to do now is just kind of go through an investment calculator. Just even taking, what we can do is we could take my investment in TSLY, which is a nice easy 100 shares even. So I invested about $1,500. So we're going to put $1,500 in the investment calculator here. You can find this on Fidelity.ca if you guys are interested for yourself. I'm going to put in, let's see if I can put in 1,500. Beautiful. Time to grow. Let's say over a 10-year period. Obviously, Yieldmax has a pretty insane dividend. We'll put it at 36% for the current time being here in the Fidelity calculator. This is obviously a pretty insane return, pretty unrealistic at the same time. Let's say we contribute about $500 every single month. We're looking at a potential return over the next 10 years, investing $55,000 into $359,000, which is obviously insane, but it just shows you the compounding returns of obviously compound interest, but also what Yieldmax could potentially bring if the underlying stock, which is Tesla, kind of appreciates over time. So I hope you guys did enjoy this video. I hope you guys got a sense of where the market's at, how it's doing in terms of TSLY, KLIP, and where their underlying stocks are at and could potentially be headed, how it may affect their dividends and everything in total, just like that. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please do subscribe if you haven't yet done so. We're up to 3,270 subscribers. I will see you guys in the next video. I hope you guys have a great day. I hope you guys enjoy the markets, and I will see you guys next time.